Hello and welcome, my name is Ghazzly and this is my thoughts on the Retrobit Tribute 64 N64 controller. So let's just unbox this thing now. It actually came in a collector's plastic sleeve. I don't know why, maybe the intention was for people to collect it, let's just get the controller out. It's actually packaged really well for something that's $17.99. I know it's only a wee plastic sheath and it's kind of like cheap controllers you buy out at Asda for Xbox and PlayStation, but that doesn't bother me one bit. So far, analog feels pretty good. A and B, decent. C's pretty decent start. It's a bit high for me. Yeah, the triggers, they could be labelled, but they're not. Yeah, that's definitely L and R and Z or Z there. Don't know why they're not labelled. D-pad's pretty good. The back of it, can't get that in focus, but the rumble pack features there. The clip feels pretty good. I've not got a rumble pack, I don't know where it is. The cable is pretty long actually, it's double the length of the N64 I think. The connection's pretty good and it's got the colour weight on it as well, which is pretty decent. Analog stick's pretty good, everything's all good. Let's just plug it in and see what it feels like when you're playing a game. Right, so I'm now going to go back to the original N64 controller, my one that I've had for years. Analog stick's pretty good, a wee bit of crud inside it, but what do you expect for a console and controller that's so old? Now I found something in Star Wars Racers that I think needs to be addressed. So first up is the original N64 controller, and as you can see, tiny adjustments made on the controller result in the perfect small adjustments in the game. It could just be down to feel and my personal preference, but this just feels way more precise and overall more natural. And just coming up, going around this corner, it's not so natural. My stick's all the way to the left, yet my pod racer can't go any further left around the corner, causing me to hit the mountainside. It could just be that you're supposed to let off the throttle at that corner and glide the pod racer around, no issues, but when you try to beat a time or create a personal best, it's pretty annoying. In saying that, this is for the first time I've played this game in a long time, so it could just be down to me being shit. In this clip I'm using the Retrobit controller. Using the controller in racing games, the analog stick precision is vital, especially when having to make tiny adjustments left and right. Using this however is making me look like I'm making huge adjustments when I'm not, something that kinda really annoyed me. However, as I turn this corner like I did in the last one, you can see me fully make it round without ease and the sticks is its furthest point left. Something that the N64 controller couldn't do. It could just be me just trying to find the fault in this or nitpicking at it, but honestly, tiny adjustments in this controller were making huge adjustments not just in pod racers, but in the Formula 1 games that I've played as well. Well, that was the Retrobit Tribute 64 for the N64. It's pretty good for the price, $17.99. It looks like the Hori pad. I'm not sure if it is based off the Hori pad. I assume that it is. I just seen I played various games. I was mostly interested in playing sports games like football and the racing games because that's when the analog stick comes into life. It should be highly responsive and easy to use and not tedious at all. And with Formula 1, it was a pain in the arse. With Star Wars Racer, it was an extreme pain in the arse. I just don't know what it is. It's like it's far too sensitive. There's no resistance in the control. It's too, it's too fluid. When you're driving in a straight line and it's kind of slight moves left and right, the first thing you want to do is move the analog stick left and right like this. You're adjusting your position at all times because you can't just stay straight. As you've seen, I've made a comparison of using the N64 controller compared to this in the Star Wars Racer. In GoldenEye, it was actually pretty good. GoldenEye was fantastic, this controller. My biggest problem with this, especially for GoldenEye, or probably any shooting game, is the positions of the Z button or Z. Now, I've got big hands, really big hands, so when I'm using the Z, it's this part of my finger that's touching the Z, because if you do this, that's uncomfortable. right? And the reason why I'm using my left finger and not my right finger is because in the original N64 controller, Z is the left hand, and that's muscle memory. In fact, I grew up playing this, so to me that's muscle memory. Always use your left finger. So I found myself, because of the way the controller is, it's a modern design, I felt myself using the right and it just felt awkward. It was really awkward. Not the controller's fault, my fault. The controller's fault is that I've got big hands and it's just too small for me, and I mean that's where my thumb's here and my fingers there. It should be like that, or at least this, but that's way too uncomfortable for me. All the other buttons are fine. A and B, start, and the C buttons are all absolutely perfect. D-pad's pretty good, all pretty responsive. I didn't notice any lag whatsoever when I'm playing this. It's a good price for $17.99. It's a really good controller if you want to find out what it's all about. My personal thoughts are this controller is aimed at someone who hates the N64 controller, who doesn't like the Nintendo 64 controller. If you're going to use this, and you have used the N64 controller before, I recommend playing it in a game that you've never played, because that way you'll get used to it and you'll not, oh this doesn't move as much as it used to. You'll get used to it and this will be your first attempt at the game, and then use the N64 controller and see what your opinion is. Then this is just my opinion, so I'm not saying don't buy this, I'm not saying buy it, I'm saying if you really want to try it, go get it. I was trying to rap there, I'm not sure. But for me, I've played this for 2 hours and I was quite happy playing it. I was fine playing it. I played Rogue Squadron for an hour and a half and fuck me sideways. That is the worst game ever. Just for me, it's really annoying. I was getting annoyed. Fucking annoyed. I don't know if it's because of the controller, I'm not sure, but I was really annoyed trying to turn and move. Tedious. I was like, this is pissing me off that I cannot do this game. So my final thoughts are, if you really want to buy this, go and buy it. Form your own opinion, don't listen to me, this is just a review on my opinion and what I think about it. I still bought it and I'll possibly buy another one because it's pretty good. I've got 2 friends who absolutely hate this controller with a passion. Hate it with a passion. They would love to come over and play this with us and see what their thoughts are. So yeah, well done to Retrobit for bringing it out. I know there is a brawler controller as well by somebody else. I'm not sure if that's Retrobit, but there is a brawler controller that's getting the same kind of complaints about the analog sticks. Mario 64 you can move ever so slightly very easily, not a problem. So that was my wee review of this Retrobit Tribute 64 controller. If you liked it, hit the thumbs up. If you want to subscribe and see more, I'd advise you before you do that, check out my channel trailer, see what I'm all about, and then press subscribe if you really want to. If not, check me out on social media. I'm going to stick to using this on my most played games, and games that I'm not interested in and want to find out what they're all about, I'll probably use this, because at the end of the day it's this versus this. This is always going to win for the nostalgia factor. But see, for the modern person getting into retro games, maybe this is what's going to be talked about most. Or if you've got a horry pad, then you're one lucky bastard.